Hello everyone. In this lesson, we are going to learn about nested queries. A nested query in SQL, it contains a query inside another query. The outer query will use the result of the inner query. Let us take an example and then try to understand how nested queries are written. Consider the table supermarket sales. For simplicity, I have taken it has 5 columns. Now, we have the first column as the invoice ID, which is unique ID. You can say that as the order ID, where each product has been purchased. The next column is the product line, where we have the product name details like health and beauty, sports and travel. Then we have the unit price, that is the unit price of that particular product. Then we have the quantity, that is the number of units sold for that product. And then we have cost of the goods sold. Suppose we need the information that we need to get the second highest total quantity of goods sold. Let's first get the highest total quantity of sales of the product line. Can you figure it out? We can use the aggregation function sum on the column quantity to achieve this. And how will we group this? We will group on the product line. So we will get the output as this. Here we are grouping by the product line. In this example, we have 2 records for health and beauty. Now, if we group this by product line and apply sum aggregation function to the quantity column, then we get the output as shown. That is, in health and beauty, we have the total sum of goods sold as 20. That is, we added 9 and 11. Similarly, for food and beverages, we have 2 rows. Hence, we summed the quantity 10 and 6. So, we got the total goods as 16. Finally, we have sports and travel, where the total sum goods is 5 plus 2, which is 7. Now, as per our question, we need to get the second topmost amount. So, we need the output as just foods and beverages, which is 16, which is the second most top product line that has seen the highest total quantity of goods or the highest sales. Now that we have observed the output for the smaller subset, let us go to Metabase and try to write the query for this supermarket sales table. First, let us see our table. As always, select star from our table name, which is supermarket sales. Let us run this. So this table has all the information about the sales. Like as I said, invoice ID, the product line, the unit price, quantity, total quantity, when the product or that particular order was being purchased, how the payment was being done, the cost of the goods sold, the margin percentage, and so on. It has n number of rows as well, this data set. Now, we will break our question and get the highest sales. How will we get the highest sales? We saw that we will use the aggregation function sum. So, in our select clause, let me just get the product line. Let me get the sum of the quantity as total quantity, or I can say as sum of goods from our table supermarket sales, and also I need to group by my product line because the question says we need to get the product line which has the highest sales. So let me run this query. So here we've got the product line as well as the total number of goods sold. Let me order this by the sum of goods. Order by sum of goods descending. So I get the highest product on top. So here, as you can see, electronic accessories is the product line that has seen the highest sales with 971. The second is food and beverages, 952. Then it's sports and travel, 920, 911, and so on. Why we got in this order? Because we have given an order by clause with the descending. Now we still didn't get our answer. Our answer is to get the second highest sale, but we've got all the sales. Now let us look at the query which we will be using. So this is the query that will result us in second highest sales. Don't worry if this code looks complicated. Before I show you the output on the Metabase, let's break it down to understand how it actually works and what is actually happening inside this query. Here, first the inner query gets executed and it is replaced by the output. So here we have the first inner query. Select sum of quantity. We have given an alias as sum goods to from our supermarket sales and we've grouped by product line. So what this results is, it will give us all the total quantities of each product line as we have just seen in our output. Now, just this subquery is written under another subquery. There we have given select the max value from this smaller inner query table. So as you can see here, the blue box, that's the inner query, will result in all the quantities. That is all the total quantities for each product line. Now, the outer query, which is the red box, what are we doing? We are just getting the maximum from this smaller table or the inner table. So, in our example, the maximum value is 971. So, this red box will result into an answer which is 971. In the outer one, we are not grouping by anything. We are not doing any of those operations. We are just finding the max value. So that will result is in 971. Now, this entire query which we have just seen, internally it will be replaced by 971 value. What we are trying to tell to the SQL is, so here as you can see, the entire query's value is being replaced. Internally 971 will be replaced. What we are trying to tell here is, in the outer query, we are doing select the product line and the sum of quantity. From supermarket sales, we are grouping it by product line. Then we are saying that the sum of goods should not be in 971. That is, we are excluding the first highest sale. Because as per our question, we just need the second highest sales. So, the not in clause will remove the first highest sale or the top highest sale. And why am I saying that it is the top highest sale? Because we've just found the maximum sum of goods, which is 971. So, this output of the entire query will result us in all of the records except the first highest sale record. And then we are using the order by clause. Order by clause, sum underscore goods descending. What this will do is, it will arrange our data from the maximum to the minimum values. So because of not in clause, we have already removed the first highest sales. So in our output, we will get the second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on highest sales, that too in order, because we have used the order by clause in descending order. Now, since we just need the second highest sales, we are only limiting it to 1. And when we give limit 1, it will just show the first record. Now, as I said, we have already removed the first highest sale. So, in our response, we have the second, third, fourth, out of which we are just showing the first record. That is the second highest sales. Now, let us try to write this query in our Metabase. So as you can see here, we have already written the query which will return us the product line and the sum of the goods. Now, out of these goods, I just need the maximum of the sum of goods. So what I will do? I will write select max of sum goods from, I will consider this query as my inner query or a subquery. And I'll give this an alias as table 1. Now let me run this. So what should be my answer? That it will give the maximum of this column value. So in our case, the maximum of this column value is 971. So this resulted me 971. Now I need the value from the supermarket sales in which the sum of goods should not be in this value. So let me write that. Select star. Instead of star, let me give product line. Then the sum of the quantity from the table name supermarket sales. I will group by product line. Let me just run this query. So as you can see, we've got all the products. Let me even order by the sum goods 1. Now this is the query. Let me order it by descending. So I get the top sales on top. So I've ordered it by descending. So this is our base query which we have seen. Electronic accessories 971, food and beverages 952, sports and travel 920, and so on. We just need the second highest sale. So from this query, we have to find some solution which will remove the first record. So here, what I do is, I use the having clause. That is, having sum of goods that I don't need this value. Sum of goods should not be in 971. Now let me run this. See, the first record we didn't get. So instead of hard coding this value, I will use the query which generated that value for me. Instead of 971, I will use the query which generated that value. Now let me run this full query. As we see, we've got the same output. That is, first record 971 is not seen. Now our job is quite simple. We've got the second highest, the third highest, the fourth highest sales. Now we just need the second highest sales. So what do? We just limit it by 1 so that we just get the first record in our output. Now let us run this query. You see, we've just got food and beverages 952. It's quite easy, right, when you understand it? So break the problem into smaller pieces and chunks and try to solve them separately. Once you've solved them separately, then combine the queries to get your final output. Awesome. Now we have learned the nested queries. Just as a recap, a nested query in SQL, it contains a query inside another query. The outer query will use the result of the inner query. Alright, now we have seen how we've written nested queries. In the next lesson, we will see how to write correlated queries. Thank you.